Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, then welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. So today, as you clicked on from the title, we're going to be talking about my experience with an incompetent cervix and getting my cerclage surgery. We're going to get right into this. So I kind of want to talk about how I found out that I even needed surgery in the first place. So I actually had just went in for my 18-week anatomy scan. Everything was looking fine. The baby's healthy. Baby's heart rate is up. She's moving. She's active. Like, she's not worried about any of this. And after the ultrasound lady gave me my ultrasound, the doctor actually came in like with concerns and was just asking me like, have you ever had surgery on your cervix before? Have you ever had a baby? So I'm just getting like nervous. Like I had put my clothes back on, but she had me take my clothes back off so she could look at it herself. And she basically told me that your cervix is open and you need to go to the hospital immediately. And like I said, this is when I was about 18 weeks. So like, baby's been growing fine, but like this is the first time that I've heard of anything like this or that they've even brought this to my attention. So I was completely like blew back, like what is going on? So nervous, like I started crying. They just made me so nervous. So basically with an open cervix, that can lead to like preterm delivery. I would have my baby early, and that could be anytime from when I've seen them at 18 weeks into 37 weeks. That's where preterm delivery ends, at 37 weeks. Like I said, my cervix was open and it could cause preterm delivery, which is obviously the baby coming early and not at its most developed, healthiest stage. So the baby would possibly end up being in the NICU for a couple months or however long, just depending on when I actually had the baby. And they were telling me that like my cervix was incompetent, which basically means like it's not working right. So we're gonna have to do something for you outside of just like having a normal pregnancy. They also told me that they usually don't even catch this in people's first pregnancies because by the time that they catch it, somebody's already had a miscarriage. So that's like a really big concern when it comes to like your cervix being open, because if your cervix is open, like basically your body's like getting ready to have this baby, and it's not ready to have the baby obviously until later on in the pregnancy. So they told me like I was very lucky that they even like caught this. And what they do like is when they catch this in the second pregnancy, after like most women have had miscarriages or something like that, they will immediately stitch up the cervix once they find out you're pregnant. So since I was only 18 weeks, they wanted to tell me like all the possibilities of complications and just like the different risks. So they told me that the baby can survive outside of the womb at 22 weeks, but it's very unlikely. So as you can see, this is why I was so nervous, because I was only 18 weeks and this is not a for sure thing that could work like what they were planning on doing. So that was very nerve-wracking for me and like stressful over that week, because anything could happen. I was just like in the mood like, okay, why is this happening to me? I thought I was having such a healthy pregnancy. I had no symptoms like of anything being wrong. Like I felt completely healthy. The baby was completely healthy. So like basically like this is all on my cervix, which is so frightening because this is something that I cannot control at all. So they also told me like, okay, another risk that they told me about was actually having like the cerclage surgery. And the cerclage surgery is just like a stitch that they put into your cervix to close up the cervix, just to help you get a little further along in your pregnancy. It's not for certain that this is going to work, and this is to prevent preterm labor. They said that it is a successful surgery, but like, you know, everybody's body's different, so I'm still nervous. Like I don't know what can happen. They told me like they do this surgery, they could break my water, so I was super nervous about that, because they say that they break people's water sometimes, and if the baby's not in water, then I'm gonna end up going into labor, and there's nothing that they could do because the baby has to be surrounded by this in the belly. So I was so nervous about that, and just the fact that they said that this, you know, might not work. So I was just like really just depending on God and my body to support this baby. So after I left the ultrasound the first day and they sent me to the hospital, they immediately decided that I needed to be admitted and signed me up for the surgery the next day at 7 a.m. Like, I could not eat that night. So I went to the surgery, and what they do is they numb you from the waist down. So I felt completely numb. Like, I literally couldn't feel anything. And they said this was kind of similar to an epidural, but it's not, like, I feel like as intense, or they said like the needle wasn't as big. So they ended up like sticking me in my back, and when I'm telling you, I was almost about to pass out because I'm like, you guys are about to do this when I'm awake. Like, put me to sleep for this, because I do not want to be awake. But anyway, they kept me woke. They said that they didn't want to put the baby completely under anesthesia, so that's why they have to have you woke during the surgery. So I was super nervous about this. I got all these bright lights on me, and I'm just like, this is so nerve-wracking. Like, I actually ended up throwing up, and I was just so nervous. Just, yeah. So they did what they do. They said everything went well. The surgery's fine. My water didn't end up breaking. Actually, like, so I was up like the whole rest of the day, and I was still numb, so I had to like wait for the numbness to wear off. And they had changed my nurse, so the nurse came in there to check me and make sure I was okay. So a fluid on the bed, a liquid on the bed. So everyone's coming in there, all the nurses are coming in there freaking out, like, oh my gosh, like, did you feel anything? Like, did you pee? Like, they don't know if my water broke. That was so nerve-wracking for me. Like, I literally started crying like instantly because nobody knew what was going on. And they have these test strips that I guess they can test if it's your water or not, but apparently they weren't working, or whatever the issue was. No one knew if my water had broke, so they immediately sent me like to another part of the hospital to get an ultrasound to see if my water had gone down or what the issue was. So my water, after I got the ultrasound, my water seemed to be okay. So it was clear that I had actually peed on myself, which I'm telling you, like, I didn't feel anything, and that's just obviously because my body was numb from the waist down. So I'm sitting in pee for who knows how long, especially when they came in there and nobody knows like what happened, and they're nervous. They don't want to say my water broke because this is a very, I feel like they wanted to say this, but this is a very like iffy surgery, but I needed it, so they didn't tell me that. So anyway, the surgery was successful so far. So now I'm in recovery, and I had to stay an extra day in the hospital. They just wanted to monitor me, make sure everything was okay. They ended up checking the baby again. Baby's fine and unbothered. I'm telling you about all of this that is going on, but I'm stressed out. So they have me taking antibiotics every 4 hours so I wouldn't get an infection in my cervix. And even after, when I went home, I would have to take this medicine every 4 hours. So now I'm considered like a high-risk pregnancy. So instead of going to the doctor once a month like they want when you're pregnant, they have me going once a week, and I get an ultrasound every week, and they're checking my cervix length every week to make sure that it's okay. And I noticed too, like, it fluctuates, and they see that sometimes, and sometimes they get worried. Like, I did actually have to go to the hospital again after, so they could monitor me to make sure I wasn't having contractions, because my cervix actually had got shorter. So but from the ultrasounds, I could see that my cervix it would be 2.2, and then it would be 1.5, then 1, then it would go back up to 1.5. So it's like literally changing day by day or week by week, whatever. Like, it's literally changing. It's not staying consistent, but it's still good that it's holding. So they weren't like that concerned about that, but they still want me to come every week so they can check it out. They don't want me having any sex, any orgasms. They want my activity to be very light. So like, walking back and forth in the house is pretty much all I can do. They wrote me a note so I could stay home from work, so I don't have to go to work. Like I just said, I'm considered high risk. So basically, I'm like being monitored and expected not to do anything, which is so boring because I'm in here by myself all the time. But it is what it is. do what I gotta do for the baby. So after I had the surgery and it has been successful, they wanted me to come back a week later just to make sure that it stays successful. So everything looks well, the baby's doing well, my water hasn't broke, like I haven't had any infection or any type of like a normal discharge or anything that's not normal. This has worked for me so far. I'm 23 weeks, so it's been 5 weeks since I've actually had the surgery. And like I said, I was admitted to the hospital because my cervix did get down to 1, but I guess that's kind of concerning for them, but it doesn't mean that this isn't working or that I'm gonna have the baby. But they just wanted to monitor me to make sure that I wasn't having contractions. Yeah, the doctor explained to me like, oh yeah, you're gonna be in and out the hospital, weekly appointments. This is going to be a really long pregnancy for you and a lot of looking. The good thing I feel like about this for me is that I get to see my baby every week. Like, that's the only exciting part. But other than this is kind of like a stressful situation. Like, I try to be calm and positive and just optimistic, and I know my baby's going to be all right. Like, she's healthy and she's unbothered by all this, and it makes me feel good that she is not affected. So they got me taking also a medicine called Prometrium, and I take it vaginally every night. So I am literally sticking 2 pills up me every night, and this is to like give me progesterone just to help to build my cervix. And the doctor told me like with the cerclage, the stitch, and the Prometrium that a lot of women have a really good success rate. So the plan is to take this stitch out at 37 weeks. And he said that most women, once they take the stitch out, usually go to labor within the next, almost immediately to the next couple days. So at 37 weeks, I will be like early February. I think it was like the week was like February 6th to the 14th, and I'm supposed to have the baby February 27th, but it's looking like she's gonna be an Aquarius now. Who knows how this is going to work out, because I could still possibly have this baby early, but I'm hoping for the best outcome. So hopefully I am able to give birth in February to a healthy baby girl. And that's all I really kind of had to say about my cerclage surgery. I was going to make another video about me having it removed. We're going to see how far I get with this cerclage. Hopefully I can make it to, you know, early term, which is just 2 weeks before your actual due date. You guys could definitely keep me in your prayers. I would appreciate it. If you just wanted to know what the cerclage surgery is, or an incompetent cervix, or if you're just following my pregnancy and wanted to see what's going on, I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys, what I've been going through. I'm so blessed to, you know, have even made it this far, because they say some women don't even catch this like this early for women. So God has blessed me and he wants me to have this baby, I'm convinced. So we're gonna end this video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate all your love and support. Like I said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna do a lot of more pregnancy videos, so if you're interested, turn on your post notifications, and I will see you guys next time.